Hey, welcome to Hearsay. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to be talking about the Minecraft audience reaction, I guess, trend.
Hmm. And audience reactions in general, because people are getting kind of crazy out there, Paul.
Yeah, it's been a weird one. So primarily we're going to be talking about the audience kind of things, which is I've seen the movie. I've actually seen Minecraft. It was a fun, entertaining movie. It's not going to win any Oscars. Patrick, you're not like
I couldn't care less about the movie itself, but I am fascinated by the social fallout of what I'm seeing happening around us, Paul, and what it could mean for cinema in the future.
yeah. This is a yeah. So the audience reactions has been kind of quite disruptive in a like it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
First of all, you got the
So,
disruptions.
yes.
This grew out of a TikTok trend of people kind of getting excited about specific parts. The I'm Steve chicken jockey kind of parts inside in the movie itself. Um,
Yeah, so Paul, for lay people like me, when we say audience reaction, look, usually when we say audience reaction to a movie, we mean is it positive or negative? People seem to like the movie, fans like the movie. It's a big moment for Minecraft fans, and I love that. I love that for everybody. I always want people to be happy. But I guess when we say audience reactions, we mean the audience reactions that become interactions. Because there was, and I don't know how it can have happened as quickly as it did, because pretty much from the first screening after that there was the TikTok trend. So there was like the nine phrases or whatever it was that were starting to circulate, a couple of them bigger than others, where when it would be said, people would lose their mind.
hmm.
Get up and start throwing popcorn, throwing drinks, screaming, jumping up and down, climbing on each other's shoulders, whatever else, depending on the cinema, depending on the people involved. But that blew me away. That there was this kind of like I get it if you're into something, but there was this it wasn't the second weekend.
No,
It was like the third showing.
yeah.
So was this coordinated beforehand, after, later? Like, do you know how this all kind of really came about and became so viral so quickly?
I think it was just that no one no one knew that there was going, or sorry, that no one thought a Minecraft movie would ever kind of actually exist. So I think people
Yeah.
got kind of, I think it kind of snowballed in the sense that like you'd have people reacting to like the stupid phrases specifically kind of to do with the Minecraft kind of community, and then
Mm.
yeah, it just exploded on TikTok. Just like social media was a big player in this trend, obviously and stuff. So like that's the kind of thing. It was first the community getting excited about something that they never thought was going to happen. Then the second kind of like wave of it was the more kind of like overreaction trend kind of thing of it. But this trend got really serious, which is it involved, yeah, as you say, involved like throwing drinks and stuff like that. Some in one case, people snuck a chicken into the cinema and released it when the chicken jockey part came out and stuff. Police have been involved in kicking people out of the
Crazy.
cinema and stuff like that. So it's turned from a kind of like excited for something that wasn't going to happen, all the way to the fact that like they've needed to actually create warnings before the movie has played. I talked to some cinema owners and staff members in my local thing, and they were saying like, yeah, it was really bad. It was causing massive disruptions. The police were involved and stuff like that. They had to hire extra security to kind of sit in the cinema and kind of watch people eventually, kind of thing. So like, yeah,
That's insane.
it like the reaction got pretty bad, and like the positive side of it is that at the start it was a community coming together excited about something. The negative side is this essentially this whole kind of overreaction kind of thing, which is actually
Okay.
caused like me. I decided not to go to the cinema like during like the first weeks because like I didn't want me and my partner covered in food and drinks.
Which is not something you should have to consider when going to the cinema. And you're very kind to say the positive part of people coming together to be excited to get something they didn't think they'd ever get. I never thought I'd see, Captain America grab Mjolnir and say, Avengers assemble. and everybody cheered when that happened. And I was in the room a couple of times because I went to see it more than once. When that happened, I'm like, yes, this is great. And we talk all the time about how cinema is about the group communal experience.
Yeah.
A cheer is one thing, but this kind of now let's just go bananas, you know, they were pausing the Minecraft movie, to allow people their time to go nuts and then to try and regain order and then move the film along. Like that's at home behavior, dude. That's not in public behavior.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's been a big kind of talking topic for quite a bit. Which was I was trying to figure how we could kind of like chat about it without just focusing specifically on the kind of like just absolute disruption in the cinema. Like so, yeah, the focus on the fact that the negative sides of this has been that certain film goers have decided not to go in a very crucial
Mm.
period of the movie kind of thing. So like this is probably in some ways affected the box office of Minecraft itself, and we will never probably know if it's a negative or positive impact. The fact is that like
What does your gut say though? Because my
I
gut says it's actually affected it positively,
I
not
would
negatively,
yeah.
to be
So
honest.
let's clear up when we're saying a box office positive, we're saying that it's helped to increase
Money.
the money spent on it, whereas negatively it means that people have been staying away. Definitely think that it's been a positive for the box office, positive for the earnings of Minecraft the movie, kind of thing, as like big huge waves of groups of people have been going specifically to cause these disruptions and issues. So the once again focusing a little bit on the positive side, which is it's been good for the movie's returns, and in some ways been good for the cinema's bank as well. The negative side
Not
is
good for the
that
cleaning bills.
yeah, this is the negative side is that like there's a possibility that some screens became unusable, like for a massive period of time.
Right.
Seats weren't usable, like there was like as I said, there were
Yeah.
some extreme cases in which damage was actually caused to the screening as well. But then the negative side to the box office, I don't think exists. I think there were some family people who didn't go at the start when the box office was more recorded. But overall earnings, I think people were just, um,
Yeah. Like, I think the people that were going to go and see this and that stayed away are probably the ones that are helping keep the later week holds.
yeah,
I think they're now that this trend is dying off a little bit and it's more under control. I think those people are now going to be going and seeing it.
yeah,
And anything that goes viral makes you money these days. Um, I'll be honest with you. From cruelty to animals, of bringing animals in like chickens,
yeah,
to just destruction of property. Kicking seats around the place and making a mess of a room. Like these are all just awful behaviors of awful human beings. I don't care what you're a fan of. If you act like that, you're an asshat. It's pretty much that simple. But for people like you or me or anybody else, somebody bring in their 10-year-old daughter who loves Minecraft, and at a moment of chicken jockey or something else, a big gulp hits her in the back of the head and makes her never want to go into a dark cinema room again. These people, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that cinemas need money, but there is a line, and
yeah.
I'm very ready to draw that line now and say that this is not the dollars that need to be chased. And I fear that these are some of the dollars that will also be chased.
Yeah, so yeah, the box office earnings so far of Minecraft have been 721 million so far, which has been a massive kind of things for the movie itself. We'll never
Yeah.
know the cause and effect of this reaction and stuff like that, but the possible fallout of this kind of stuff is incredibly negative, kind of thing, because which is you have, as you said, you have families and people who've gone to the cinema maybe for the first time, and this is the movie that they decided to go for the first time, and they have had the worst cinema experience that they could possibly have, which definitely then like plays like gives them essentially you know horrible experience that they'll never go to the cinema again. Which means a new generation of cinema goers will no longer want to be involved. Um,
It's assault, Paul. It's just that
yeah,
simple.
no, it is like there's tons. Once again, there's tons of social media posts of family members, of dads, of mothers, complaining about the fact that like their kid has been drenched in drinks and covered in food, and
Yeah.
terrified about the amount of like people jumping up and shouting and disturbing the cinema, like
Well,
that's the
while we're
family.
talking, sorry, go over it.
I was going to say that's the family fallout of cinema goers and stuff like that. The wider negative impact is the fact is that someone's going to try this again.
Well, yeah, and let's face it, they're also ruining a long history of goodness. Because even, as recently as last year, the year before, Minions 2,
Mm.
viral trend of people dressing up in suits as Gru or whatever,
Yeah, and minions,
and,
yeah, following.
sitting there and congregating and doing things mostly non-destructive, as far as I remember. I wasn't a trend I was part of. You got people dressing up for Barbenheimer.
Yeah,
You got people, expressing themselves, expressing the joy of cinema, all the things that we're like, yes, support and endorse this sort of, fanatical cosplay behavior to the normies out there. But for people who are into their thing, be it Minecraft or Lego or Barbie or Oppenheimer or Wicked, or like the ultimate, Rocky Horror Picture Show played forever and is
yeah,
still playing. Friday nights, people go and do their sing along. No, it's out long enough that nobody's going along without the knowledge that there's probably going to be an audience full of people singing along with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You can if you're going to see a screening
yeah,
of it, you can watch it at home, whatever. But this sort of stuff, it's not just going to ruin it for the people who do the bad thing. It's going to ruin it for the people who are doing it the okay way. Am I going to be at the next Steve Rogers Avengers moment, and I'm going to not even go yay because there's going to be people in there with like tranquilizer darts in case somebody steps out of line. I'm not talking slippery slope here, but the possible fallout because there's money to be made. I am more worried. I'm less worried about the trank darts. I am more worried that there were 4DX screenings
yeah,
called chicken jockey screenings. Already, while this was happening, cinemas were like, this is a nightmare, but there's money. So they're trying to corral people instead of like, you stay away. They're trying to corral them into controlled areas, going, if you're going to be an asshat, be an asshat in here.
yeah.
So maybe we can have our cake and eat it too. We can have both parts of this. I do not want to encourage this going forward. I don't think cinemas, I certainly don't think movie studios, but I know marketing departments will be looking at everything, going, where can we get our I'm Steve moment? I don't want that as part of crappy, because it'll be crappy movies mostly that they'll
Mm.
try this with. They're not going to be trying it with things that they know can stand on their own.
Yeah, that's the worry. It's essentially that there's a trend kind of things in several parts now of the kind of the the entertainment kind of movie industry part now. Not only the industry audience all the way up to marketing departments of studios. That's the problem, is that there's now people going like, what other there's everybody is now going, what other films can we do this in, do this kind of thing in? And that's my problem. My problem is that this
Yeah.
wasn't as stamped out as quickly as possible, like by the communities and by other people. And there are people who are going to be in there going like, where can we do this again? Like the fact is that Thunderbolts is coming out. Like, like, is there going to be something in Thunderbolt, some kind of post credit kind of scene that's going to, like, have some kind of, like, not done by Marvel, the studio, done by some
No.
community member or anything like that? Because, as you say, there has been a tradition in several forms of cinema, of audience interaction with the films, mostly to do with cosplay, maybe in later kind of showings or re-showings, maybe like talking along or like saying a specific kind of
Sing-alongs. Yeah.
quotes, yeah, sing along ones and stuff like that. The Wicked one is kind of the Wicked is on the verge, is kind of things, because like
Yeah.
they had sing along ones and then people sang in non sing along ones, so you kind of had this like
Which
weird,
again, terrible behavior.
yeah, bleed over effect kind of thing. Like it's just worrying, because as you say, there's a marketing department now going, Star Wars hasn't been done that quite well. Where can we get people
Hmm.
to like raise their lightsabers and have lightsaber battles in the middle of the cinema, during certain parts? That's my worry. The what is it? The anniversary for Return of the Sith. I think is coming up, and like that's I'd be interesting to see if there's some kind of marketing employ of people bringing lightsabers and fighting each other. Now I'm not starting a trend.
No,
Don't.
yeah, don't suggest trends, but
Yeah.
I agree with you. But I weirdly, there are people whose job titles say, "Oh, I'm in the viral marketing department," or I'm part of a marketing department in charge of viral efforts," and you're like, "What the hell?" And like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the lower budget stuff
Yeah.
that's being made out of public domain or whatever. I'm not picking on them specifically before anybody thinks I am, but just there are going to be lower budget movies
Yeah.
that will need to spend the little bit of marketing dollars they have it wisely. And some of them will be like, you know what? If it means that we have a moment where everybody stands up and pees on the seat in front of them, if we can make that take off and we can get a box office weekend that's 2 million instead of 1 million, that's huge for us.
Yeah.
And they'll let that kind of stuff go. Going, well, we didn't do it, but look at all our film is now notorious.
Yeah.
And people will live off notoriety for their next project or for whatever else they're trying to push. Because, money is evil and people love money. So therefore people can be evil. I'm with you that, something like Wicked was on the edge. I think cinemas are going to have to think, like, I mean, cinemas themselves, the buildings and organizations, they're going to have to think about how much they want to court this, how much they want to bring it on, but also how they want to police their having the best of both worlds. Because having the best of both worlds is fine as long as you can enforce it. And Wicked proved that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's the major issue. So yeah. So look, we've given you our kind of our thoughts on this and stuff. Which is we want to know what you think. Is this a net positive? Is this a net negative kind of thing? Of like we know it's a net positive for box office. That's it. We don't know if it's like it's going to be a net negative for essentially cinemas and audience goers and everything like that. So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Obviously, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell as well. Which is any other final thoughts, Patrick?
No, that's it. Just be human out there. Try and remember that everybody else is living on the same planet as you.
That's it. Just be kind. Which is so. With that, I've been Paul,
I've been Patrick.
and we've been Hear Us Out. See you later.